and welcome back to the Over 40s Fitness Podcast. My name is Tristan Lowe. Here we are, late February, and I've got my my learned guest in, Carrianne Dukes. Hi, Carrianne.
Hello, Tristan.
Welcome back to the channel.
No, thank you for having me back.
That's twice now, twice in a year. That's just about right, I reckon.
Just enough.
All right, we're going to reverse roles today, and Carrianne's going to fire questions at me for a change. I'm normally firing the questions at my guests on the channel about their health, their physical well-being, and what they do for a living. And today it's the other way around. But we just held up in the thumbnail 2 books, and I've got a book here called The Supple Body. I don't know where I got it from. I think I got it at an old market stall about 10 years ago. I can't remember. I know I didn't pay $9.99 for it. Oh, it says here, gift aid. I paid $1.99 for it. And it's just a book about how to keep your body nice and supple. And Carrianne's book was what?
Atomic Habits by James Clear. So Henry Gill, our head of ops, actually recommends this book to everybody.
Right.
He's a top fan. It's about building and implementing good healthy habits for a good healthy life, really, in all aspects. So not just health, but in work and play.
Yeah, I've seen that book in shops. I've seen people have it on their bookshelves at home or whatever. It's a good read then.
Yeah, it's a really good read.
Yeah, Atomic Habits. Why atomic though? Because it sounds clever. Not just habits, atomic habits. All right, I'll leave it to you.
Fabulous. No, thank you, Tristan. I thought it'd be a good idea to sort of get your thoughts on the podcast. Obviously, I've worked with you now for a couple of years, and your wisdom has been very well received.
All right. Who by?
People,
not me.
Yeah.
People.
So I thought it'd be good to get your sort of take on things. I think
Yep.
a lot of people that I'm speaking to at the moment are struggling. I think the darkness is affecting a lot of people. People are very stressed, but there's a lot of psychological benefits I think that comes from health and exercise.
All right.
So it'd be good to hear from your sort of knowledge of physiology why that's the case.
All right. Shoot, far away. Let's have it. I'm here till about midnight tonight. Just kidding, by the way. I have got a normal life outside. All right. What's your first question? Let's hear it.
So, what actually are the physiological benefits of health and exercise? What is the science behind it?
Yeah.
Why does exercise make you feel better once you do it?
Okay. What are the physiological benefits of exercise? And physiology is head to toe. Okay. Well, that depends on a lot of factors. That depends on where you live, what country you live in, what part of the world you live in, when you live. You know, if it was turn of the century Victorian London, you know, exercise to them was working in workhouses and whatnot. The average age, I think, mortality was about late 30s by then. Things are slightly different now. The benefits of exercise. Well, the first thing is one that I think most people would grasp. It makes you feel better. Now, if anyone knows me really well, I'm not one for feelings, okay? But in that category.
Yeah.
But feel better. Now, if feel better means you're stood up straight, your posture's better. I saw you trying to adjust your posture then.
Always does when people say posture. It's like
They
when
always
you
do,
see yourself
yeah.
in the camera, you're like, oh.
Yeah, you always do. Yeah, I'm doing it now actually. If your posture's better, if you are driving home whistling or going to work whistling while you're driving because the night before you did a workout, or you feel better because your brain feels a bit clearer. Now, there are physiological reasons why that happens. And one of the things is your adrenal glands will fire up, those glands that fire up and get us ready. The nervous system switches on. Your, what we call the sympathetic nervous system. In other words, your electrical impulses around the body, as in you, Carrianne. All the signals go around your body, whether you're walking, swimming, cycling, lifting weights. The benefits of exercise are musculoskeletal strength, okay, and ordinarily that's resistance training. But I've explained to Carrianne and countless clients, resistance training doesn't mean picking up a dumbbell and moving it from A to B over and over again. That's just a part of it. Resistance training can be in the swimming pool. It can be walking up a hill. There's a form of resistance. So the first thing is, with a brand new client, the benefits is they can't see a difference in one day.
Okay.
Maybe you've got some blood in the cheeks, maybe, you know, you feel better. But what they do is they definitely feel better within week 1 or week 2 of exercising. You mentioned about people that you know or know of who are feeling what? Did you say they're feeling a bit down or low at the moment?
Like stress, low energy, very stressed with a lot of things going on.
Give an example what they're stressed with.
So, for example,
no names.
no names. So, for example, one person has just gone through a big breakup.
That's tough.
Yeah, she was with her partner for 5 years.
Business partner?
Boyfriend.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with saying partner. We've had this debate for about 10 years.
So partner, so they opened a law firm together?
Yeah, they were actually both in law. Actually.
She split from her boyfriend?
Yeah,
That's
split
tough.
from her boyfriend. And she's trying to focus on like health and nutrition to sort of like make herself feel better.
Yep.
But some days she's like struggling obviously to like get out of bed and actually do the exercise.
Yeah. The struggling to get out of bed, that's another one that a lot of people suffer with or suffer from, and it hasn't always got to be in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
It could be middle of summer, because if you've gone through a breakup on August the 1st, you can't think, I'll wait till December to feel rough. You're going to feel rough on August the 2nd.
Yeah.
Or before August the 1st. So the time of year just compounds it. You know, when it's dark outside in our country, bear in mind, we're not Scandinavia or Alaska where it's dark for 6 months a year. It's dark for really 2 months a year?
Still too long.
Still too long, yeah. Well, the first thing is not the time of year.
Okay.
That can be, there is very good evidence that lack of vitamin D, lack of daylight, can have a detrimental effect on our physical and mental well-being.
Yeah.
It's probably more so, and I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, it's probably more so in fact she's gone through a breakup. Because let's just say your friend met Mr. Perfect tomorrow, suddenly those clouds aren't too bad. Everything's relative. It depends on so many factors. So if your friend was swiping left tomorrow and landed on Mr. Perfect in every way, then suddenly, again, she might find impetus to get out of bed and think, that's not too bad, because other factors will override. Of course, getting out of bed at, I don't know, anything between 5:30 and 6:30 in the morning while it's still dark is going to be because our body's circadian rhythms are set to wake up when it's light.
Yeah.
So the first thing to do, if this time of year, is open the blinds when you go to sleep.
Okay.
It's not like it's going to wake you up at 4:30 in the morning like in the summer. It might get light by 6:30, 20 to 7. So there's some light coming into the bedroom.
Yeah.
Don't have the room too warm either. I know women run cold, so they're like a nice bed, they're like a nice warm room. You know, radiators on full blast in the bedroom.
Nice thick duvet.
That's not healthy. Thick duvet's healthy, but hot bedrooms aren't healthy. What your friend could also do is say to herself, right, alarm goes off. What's that, 6 a.m. maybe?
Yeah, 6.
Right, and by 6:05, you know, by hook or by crook, she's out of bed. Now, it's hard because you feel cold and you don't want to pull the quilt off. Well, she should say to herself, well, give herself a reason to put the gym kit or her walking stuff in the bedroom where you can see it, okay? Goes for a walk, by 6:10, she's got up, been to the ladies, had a cold glass of water, and she's walking. When she comes back, those problems are still there, they just seem easier.
Yeah.
They feel slightly easier. But the same thing can be for men. Men that run businesses, men that have got busy lifestyles with families, finances, they can get down in the dumps, or I'm not going to say the D word, I'll say it, depressed, because that has to be clinically diagnosed.
Yes.
But they can feel like they're depressed. I think the word depression is too easily used nowadays. Every time Arsenal lose a game of football, I don't get depressed, I just get miffed. The M word, but it lasts half an hour.
Yeah.
I'm not depressed about a bunch of multi-millionaires losing a game of football, but there are some men that get like that. Guys that are so entrenched with their local football team, they generally can't get themselves out of bed, or they can't sleep at night, or they can't function with the other half, with the missus well, because their football team's lost a game of football.
Yeah,
it's an absurd thing, but I've talked about it ad nauseum as well. So different people can get down for different reasons. I would say the first thing to do is the kitchen. Take out the processed food out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
Stay off alcohol. Yeah. It soothes, it dulls things and whatnot, but in the long run, it's even worse.
Well, it's a depressant, isn't it? So.
It can be. Well, it can be used as an antidepressant. I mean, Al Capone got rich from it in Prohibition, and look how he ended up. He died of syphilis in prison. So look where that got him. It all started with a bottle. You know, so I would say to your friend, avoid alcohol. But maybe if it's a glass of red wine with a nice meal with some friends and family, okay. But avoid soothing or numbing the issue with alcohol. Some people go harder. They'll go into cigarettes, vaping, narcotics, pharmaceuticals, but avoid alcohol. Yeah. Personal, and this sounds strange, but personal hygiene, and I don't mean washing her hands. The personal hygiene can be, avoiding bad food, avoiding bad people, create a close-knit friends and family around her. the ones that can actually benefit her and that she can benefit as well. That's part of personal hygiene.
Yeah.
Oh, and of course, brush your teeth.
Yeah, of course.
Twice a day. Next.
Next. Okay, fabulous. No, thank you for that, Tristan. I think one thing that I see like with people all around in the sort of like world and stuff is obviously people start exercising, well, it's January, we're now in May, February, they did the New Year, New Me sort of thing.
Yeah.
But they're sort of hit a plateau with it, they're not seeing results, they're getting frustrated.
Yeah.
But what advice would you give to people that hit a plateau in their health journey?
Yeah, okay, that comes around every year, and you're right, Carrianne, it's generally January and February, New Year, New Me, and I get all that, and it's part of our business as well. But the body doesn't really know that it's January the 1st, only you know, the brain.
Yeah.
Your finger or your right kneecap or your left hamstring doesn't know that it's January the 1st. Only you, your brain, your friend's brain knows. Yes, there's symbiosis, body and mind, but they're mutually exclusive as well. So what I would say to someone who hits a plateau, and what is a plateau to you then? I'll fire the question back. If someone hits a plateau...
Smart move. I think it's...
Deflecting.
Giving him time to think.
Yeah. Stop, I thought. No, a plateau could be someone who actually thinks, I'm not losing... You know, they lost 4 pounds in January, but 2 pounds in February. The body's designed to do that.
Yes,
the body's designed to go, hang on. We were 4 stone overweight. We've lost 4 to 7 pounds in January through discipline or through change. Yeah, that kind of novelty factor of cutting out the junk food. And then in February, John or Carol only loses 1 or 2 pounds, and they think something's gone wrong. No, it's going right. You know, their plateau is in their head. Because they've not measured the circumference of the upper arm. Yeah. It's highly unlikely, unless they're pro bodybuilders. They might not have measured the circumference of the upper thigh and think, well, why have my upper thighs gone down? You know, if it's a woman, and if it's a guy, why aren't they bigger? Yeah. Like The Rock, like
some
Dwayne
women
Johnson.
want bigger thighs.
They do. That's another conversation. Right. So what they should do is course correct straight away and take up a different form of exercise. The one they've done is fine, and it could be fine 20 years in the future, the next 20 years. Yeah. But if they've been doing resistance training in the gym on machines, switch to free weights. If they've been doing free weights for 6 to 8 weeks, start swimming. Yes. Do a month of swimming. At least the novelty factor of different exercise. The other thing they can do is to actually train with someone else. Train with a friend, train with a work colleague, someone different, get a personal trainer, you know. or what they could do is say to themselves, it's not a plateau, it's not. I've nearly exhausted that first 6 weeks. Yeah. And that's why I did a video not long ago saying, when you start exercising, forget 5-6 days a week. You should walk 6 to 7 days a week. Yes. But actually working out, breaking a sweat, it's grand opening, grand closing. You're better off training properly twice a week. Yeah. On top of your normal walking, you can sustain that. Yeah. You can sustain that for years.
Yeah, I think the thing that you always said, which was actually really handy, it's a really good analogy. So it's like, imagine like you're on a ship, and it's something that always stuck with me. So you're on a ship, you're going to a certain destination. Yeah. If you go off course correct, like say straight away the next day. Yeah. So like, for example, you're fine, like, because I used to drink a bit more than what I drink now. So I'd go out drinking, have fun. Yeah. But then next day it'd be straight back onto health, eating well, moving my body. Yeah. And then that helped me with the consistency, opposed to going, oh, I've drank yesterday, now today I'm going to eat crap and not move. Yeah. So that course correcting straight away and just be like, yeah, okay, that went slightly off course, but that's fine. Yeah, it's fine. just getting back on it and having that more consistent and sort of long-term thinking as well, opposed to wanting to see results like tomorrow. Yeah. Because that just doesn't work and it's just not possible. Like I say, with the physiology of a human body. Yeah, your body's designed to actually store body fat. Visceral fat, abdominal fat, to use as a source of energy. It's designed not to strip the body of fat. It's designed actually to strip muscle first. You know, in a state of shock, a state of poor sleep, poor nutrition, lack of exercise, or a bit of all of them. The first thing the body will do, there's discussion for it, will get rid of fluid, but it will get rid of muscle first. And not muscles, it will get rid of the quality of the muscle inside the body. Yes. The body, and it hangs on to fat because it wants to use fat as an energy source. So it gets rid of the first thing, because muscle might be smaller, but it's denser. It's hungry. It's a high metabolic tissue in the body. But the body doesn't need massive glutes. It doesn't need the best hamstrings in the world. What it needs is a source of fat to balance the nervous system, the immune system. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, to use as a source of energy. So it gets rid of the most
it gets rid of the most greedy thing first, which is muscle.
Yeah.
And if it's a woman, I always say to her, get into the habit of strength training.
Yes.
Strength training is not just for men. It's equally important to some degree, certainly at the age of 40 plus for women. It's probably more important, and the reason being they have the osteo issues, the bone degeneration, quicker than a man's. You know, especially if they've had children as well. The hormonal changes in the body is going to rapidly speed up for want of a made-up term, accelerated decrepency in the body.
Yes.
More so on women from a certain age. We're talking bone, because bone is a form of tissue. It's a living tissue. So, and of course the other aspect as well is when people hit a slump, let's say late February.
Okay.
I think they've given it then, they would have given it 8 or 9 weeks from the first week in January. If they hit a slump in late February, I always say to them, what's coming in March? More daylight.
Thank God.
Go outdoors. Yeah. Thank someone.
Yeah.
Get outdoors.
Yeah.
Get outdoors. If you've been sweating it in your garage for 8 weeks in the dark, doing your exercise, get outdoors. Yeah. Go hiking, go walking, go trekking. Even go and jump in a cold lake, only if you can swim though. Yeah. And have someone with you.
You don't want anyone drowning, do you?
No, not today.
No, so that's actually a really good point, like you say, about the strength and building muscle. Because there is a lot more like women strength training now, and women getting the confidence to go in the weights in the gym, which was primarily seen as like a man area. Yeah. So for somebody that's debating whether to focus on cardio or strength, which one would you say is better for long-term health? Yeah, the
D word is the answer to that. Depends.
Depends.
It depends on a multitude of factors. If if they've got poor cardiovascular health, like they get out of breath just walking up the stairs, the heart rate goes to 70-75% of its maximal, just walking up the stairs in their house. Yeah. That person that always takes the lift, the person that always takes that's different. If you've got a kid in a pushchair or loads of bags in your hands, different. I would say first thing is a little bit of cardiovascular to get used to sweating. Okay. Get used to being out of breath, get used to sweating, get used to your nervous system balancing and not wanting to throw up and things like that. You'd be surprised how someone who doesn't exercise can feel sick, head or belly really quickly with just moderate exercise, not acute. It's because they're not used to it. Yeah. And they've not eaten right, they've not slept right, they've not hydrated, because it's not the norm for them. I would say from scratch, maybe 2 to 3 weeks of cardiovascular. Okay. So if they start walking, we're talking not watching their dog walk, but actually going on a walk every day, swimming twice a week. Okay. Going on a spin bike, going on a push bike, so they get used to it, and then don't wait. Course correct before they need to, and start doing some form of resistance training. Bodyweight exercises, resistance bands, machines in the gym. Fixed path machines, they're not ideal, but they're okay for beginners. Okay. Or the elderly, or someone's coming back from the flu or a bad injury, and they've not got the physiological strength, or they've not got the actual musculoskeletal strength and balance to do free weights, but they're only for a short period of time. So I'd say 2 to 3 weeks of cardiovascular, and then straight into strength training. Okay. And when I say strength training, I don't mean all out like a powerlifter, 2 or 3 reps of max and 1 rep max and 3 rep max. No, you want to be doing 2 to 3 sets of each exercise for up to 25 repetitions. Okay. Yeah. Watch how your friend or your work colleague, woman or a guy, feels better instantly. Yeah. Yeah, they're going to have some achy muscles the next day because they're not used to it. But the novelty factor of strength training, irregardless of what type it is, it's almost instant feedback. Okay. Yeah. And that's why when people start doing strength training as well, they always want to go and train after. They say, I feel like I could do something more. They want to go and they start buying gym gear. They start going on YouTube looking at about fitness and whatnot, high rocks and stuff like that. And okay. Well, and I get it. They're intoxicated by that feeling, and they'll be saying, I've not lost any weight, but my clothes feel better. Yeah.
Do you think long distance cardio puts a lot of pressure on the body? Because that's one thing that I'm finding. Yeah. Is like 5Ks are fine, but like training for like 10Ks and like half marathons, it seems, especially as a woman, like the hormonal impact I think is quite thin.
Cardio is good for cardio.
Yeah. Okay.
Cardio, walking, swimming, cycling, rowing, running, it is good for cardio. It's good for your heart and lungs. It's good for your nervous system. Yeah. It's good for getting sweating toxins out of the body. Yeah. But when you say about long distance or endurance, now what's long distance to one person compared to a desert ultra runner? That's just Tuesday to them. That's breakfast.
That is.
What it does though, it puts the possibility of repetitive strain on your joints. Okay. Yes, that's foot, toes, heels, knees, ankles, hips, lower back. When I was training for trekking and mountaineering, I did, people that know me, I spent a lot of time on foot, and I was getting repetitive strains, ankle joints, feet, toes, sometimes even knees. And it wasn't because there was so much weight on me, it was the sheer volume of cardiovascular exercise I was doing. And the thing with cardiovascular exercise, no one stops doing it because the previous week they ran out of breath. Because you're not out of breath a week later. People stop doing outdoor cardio because they get injured. Or the other one is that their time has become more precious because they or someone else wants them to do something else with that time.
It is true.
So in answer to your question, let's go back to the beginning. Cardio to start with, to get the heart rate going, get them used to sweating and being out of breath. No more than 2, 3, maximum 4 weeks. Then strength training.
Then what do you reckon the split should be? Or does it just depend on their goals and their body?
Let's say someone's got to lose 3 stone, what's that, 42 pounds. Okay, they need to do both. Certainly for longevity, more strength than cardio. But if someone comes in on January the 1st and they want to lose 3 stone and it's agreeable between myself and the client, or even someone who's not a client, you need to lose about 40, 42 pounds, John or Jill. Right, okay, don't try and do it in 3 months. Do it in a year. That's less than a pound. That's less than a pound a week. And if I show someone less than a pound a week, and it's a visual water, then you think that's not a lot. Over a year, you lose 3 stone over a year, and guess what? Once that weight's come off and the excess body fat has come off, that person who's trained for 10, 12 months in different guises is 9 times out of 10 more than likely going to carry on doing some form of exercise. Even if they put a stone back on. Because lighter doesn't always mean better.
That's true.
The mix, I would say 3 for that person, 3 strength training sessions a week, and 1 to 2 cardio. But you're talking about on a separate day. If they've not got the time, then I would say 10 to 15 minutes of warming up. Treadmill walk, bike, rower, spin bike, something like that. Again, heart rate up, break a sweat, no more than that.
And then do you reckon with strength training, people should, because some people out there do like a leg day, arm day,
bro
back day,
splits.
that's it,
Do you know bro splits?
No, what are they?
Yeah, bro, as in brother. Like in America, hey bro. They call them bro splits, and it means when essentially you train 5 to 6 days a week on different body parts. The proper term for that is called hypertrophy training. Hypertrophy. And that was essentially solidified by pro bodybuilders, amateur and pro bodybuilders in the 50s onwards. And of course the golden era of bodybuilding being probably the late 70s to late 90s. But hypertrophy training, or bro splits, are essentially when you train one body part to near exhaustion or exhaustion on one day. Monday, chest and calves. Tuesday, back and hamstrings. Wednesday, shoulders and biceps. Thursday, glutes and obliques, something like that. I trained like that in my 20s, but it interfered with my basketball training. It made me a bit too stiff. And in basketball, you need to be strong, but you need to be mobile and pliable. Like an athlete, you don't need to be pumped up like Arnie in his prime. But in answer to that, I'd say for that person then, don't do those. Don't do hypertrophy. Don't do one body part. Now, there are benefits to it. It gets you full of blood. It keeps you exercising regular. The downside to it though, is if a man or a woman is to do chest and arms on a Monday to so exhaustion, they can't train them again until Friday or the following Monday. That's probably not good in the long run. Because it means that body part, whilst it may get exhausted once, better to have it halfway to exhaustion and train it twice a week. Consistency. Leg days are the hardest.
You can't walk.
You can't walk, you get no legs. You can't get off the chair.
But time as well, isn't it? Like
time, someone who goes to the gym 6 times a week, they've either got a lot of time on their hands or that obsession is short-lived. Someone who goes twice a week, they'll still be doing it 20 years later.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
Next, we've looked at your friends, people that you know, not me, people that you know, the dark, the cold, cardiovascular, weight loss, strength training, the physiological or the mental side of it as well. We touched on food.
Yes, I think what would you say to people that ask what is more important. Is it sleep? Is it nutrition? Or is it exercise? Because they're like the three fundamentals of health, aren't they? So what is more
for health?
Yeah.
It's the most. I would say it's the one that we can't actually do without.
Okay.
Sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Now, an insomniac, a diagnosed insomniac, can live for 30 years with insomnia.
Yeah.
Be a gruesome sight, like The Walking Dead, but they're still alive. Now, we can't not eat. I think past 2 weeks or something like that, you can live on water, maybe even longer. Probably in the UK it's 2 hours or 2 days.
Yeah.
It's the boring one first, it's sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Are you talking about weight loss or general health and fitness throughout the rest of our lives?
I think it'd be good to hear both sides of things. So, say weight loss, which one's more important there, but also for general, once you're at a good health, how do you maintain that for the longevity?
Starting weight loss, I'd always go for body weight.
Okay.
So let's separate body weight from body fat.
Yes.
Body fat, sleep.
Okay.
If you sleep poorly, you can still lose body fat with good nutrition and regular exercise. If you sleep well with good nutrition and regular exercise, you're going to lose more fat, abdominal fat, but the sleep. Of those three things, sleep, nutrition and exercise, at this moment in time, one that comes last is actually the sexy one, exercise. Yeah. Because it's exciting for some people. Some people hate it, but there's so many different guises of exercise that we can all find something that resonates with us. And it could be, someone who can knit at 1,000 miles an hour, that have strong hands. But actually, sleep is the boring one first, then the not so boring one, which is nutrition, because people like to go and buy those kind of funky packaged foods and whatnot, or things where it's an in food, like the the coffee with fat in it.
Oh, like flavoured coffee, like latte, like what's?
No. Coffee that's got fat in the coffee.
Oh, in the coffee.
Yeah, it's
like
becoming
cream?
No, I have cream in mine. But I think good sleep first.
Okay.
Then go in the kitchen, clear out your kitchen of rubbish, cut down the alcohol, and then exercise. You show me someone who sleeps solid throughout the night, only eats healthy diet 90% of the time. But get this, only exercises once a week. That's sustainable. Yeah. Someone could exercise 5-6 times a week, eat poorly and sleep poorly. It's not sustainable.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I was listening to a podcast all about this actually, and it says that if you don't get your sleep, like the way evolution and like humans have gone, you then crave like sugar.
You do.
So then you just want to eat rubbish. Yeah. And then also with like food, you can eat like 1,000 calories in 5 seconds, but it takes hours to burn that.
That's right.
So obviously when it's like when you need to have a deficit in calories to lose the weight, it makes sense why, like say, you need to focus on sleep but also nutrition because of how much sort of time and effort you need to put into exercise to actually lose the calories, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I think that is really sort of fascinating. I think nutrition's always such a huge one though, isn't it? Because it's the one that we can control.
It's open to, sorry Carrianne, it's also open to interpretation, and it's open to as well. There's a lot of ambiguity when it comes to nutrition because I follow one, maybe two people, and they're always American, aren't they? We never follow someone on YouTube from Bristol.
Maybe one day.
Or from, I don't know, Anglesey. It's always New York, California, LA, maybe London, and Dubai. Oh. People are following YouTubers who hang out in Dubai because they think if I hang out in Dubai, then I'm cool.
Each for their own.
Well, it's fine. You're cool, but you're broke. Yeah. All right. So, the hardest one for clients to get their head around is the nutrition, the abstinence from a constantly poor diet. Yeah. Because that habit is long term. And bear in mind, when I trained you, when I train other clients and they're with me for the hour or 2 hours a week, that 1 hour, they're in my care. We're working together and they're going to train because it's an hour. Everyone can dial in for an hour, but they're on their own for 23 hours of that day. And I like chocolate. Everyone who knows me, I like chocolate. But if I didn't exercise or I wasn't 6'4", that chocolate would soon start to add up. I'd have a belly on me. So I've cut it down.
I can imagine you with a belly, to be fair.
Well, I've cut it down to 9 times a week. Yeah. Just kidding. I've cut it down to twice a week. Okay. Yeah. I can go without it, but I can go without alcohol for half a year. Although I like a pint of Guinness in winter, I like a cold beer in summer, I like a glass of champagne to celebrate something. Yeah. But if you said to me, Tristan, for some physiological reason, I couldn't have a sip of alcohol now until September the 14th, I'm good. Yeah. If you told me I can't have a bar of chocolate, not so good.
So obviously there's a lot of information out there, isn't it, about
Yeah.
like calorie deficit, also what foods to eat, protein supplements, and I don't know, sometimes it's quite overwhelming.
It is,
as like
yeah.
just like a normal person that just works 9 to 5 and
Yeah.
people that have families and stuff. But actually, what should they be focusing on?
When you talked about supplementation, you've asked me that a few times.
Yes,
And I do get more and more women asking about supplementation. You know, years ago it was the blokes because they want big arms,
Yeah.
right? And I say, don't waste a single penny or a brain cell or a dollar on supplementation until you've got your food sorted first.
Yeah.
Remember, it's not an MRP, it's not a meal replacement product. It's supplement.
Yes.
It supplements nutrients that you're not getting. Or if someone trains so hard and has such a physiologically busy physical lifestyle, they need more calories than someone else, or they need more nutrients. I take a supplement. But a supplement hasn't always got to be a protein drink, it could be a creatine.
Yeah.
Now creatine is found in red meat. I would say to someone, lose some weight first, if you've got weight to lose.
Yeah.
Don't waste your time, effort and money on fancy drinks.
Okay.
You're better off drinking water
Yeah.
with a little slice of lemon in it or something like that, or adding something to it so it's palatable, because some people don't like drinking water because they say it doesn't taste of anything. And my answer is it tastes of water.
Yeah.
But they
it
taste
does
buds.
taste different though. If you taste it in different bottles,
Yeah.
like, it does taste. It's probably psychological.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah. I would say get your food sorted first.
Yes.
You know, don't worry about supplements. Maybe a multivitamin. You know, maybe a vitamin D spray in winter or whatnot, or if you only need to take a supplement for your joints or something like that. But get it from food first.
Yeah. But what about, you know, like all those things in the supermarket that you see, like high protein?
Yeah.
Like, is that okay to eat? You know, the yogurts.
They're often high sugar.
High sugar. Interesting.
Always read the label.
Yeah.
That bit that no one does. Like, I don't read instructions for how to make things. I try and figure it out until I go to tear the air out, and then I read the instructions.
Yeah.
Always read the label. Quite often that these foods, and remember, they're processed packaged foods. You never see an apple or a banana saying high source of protein, because they're not. There's no calories in an apple. You know, I mean, there's no fat in it.
Yeah.
I think an apple, I think it's less than 1 gram of. I think it's got like less than a gram of fat. So
Tastes good.
go with them
Yeah.
because it's actual food. Those packaged foods, those yogurts, those protein nutty bars, just look at them as a source of energy.
Yeah.
Because they're often high on sugar. And when they say low sugar, that's open to interpretation. Because you look at the bar, and the bar is 100 grams, and the nutrition label on the back says per 100 grams,
Yeah.
RDA, recommended daily allowance. That's right, there's no way that someone stood in that factory and measuring the amount of sugar in. I look at them as a source of energy,
Okay.
not a source of protein. A source of protein for me, while I'm on the move, as in if I'm out walking, trekking, hiking, is almonds.
Okay.
Protein and fat,
Yeah.
great for energy, and they're portable. Get used to eating almonds, eating a banana for a source of energy. Milk is a carbohydrate. It's got traces of protein in it. Again, I drink 1 to 2 pints of milk every day, 7 days a week. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know, I should be as wide as this. Right, it's a carbohydrate.
Yeah.
So when one day I cut down on milk, I'm actually cutting down on carbohydrates.
Okay.
So I'll need to get my carbohydrates from something else, and that'd be vegetables.
Yeah.
I would say don't waste money on them. If you need energy, deep sleep.
Yeah. Go to bed.
Go to bed earlier.
For tea, you're having sleep.
Yeah. What's for dinner? Sleep.
Yeah. So it's like say it's go back to how we used to eat, isn't it? So eat proper
Food.
food.
And then if at a point, if you're out with your friends or your fella, and you're going out for an all-day hike or trek, you're not going to have a tin of tuna. You're not going to have a steak in your bag.
Yeah. Canned beans.
Put some almonds, pumpkin
Yeah.
seeds, sunflower seeds. It's actually food,
Yeah.
and it's a great source of energy, vitamins. You know, and of course it helps to balance the immune and the nervous system.
Okay.
Cool.
So yeah. So what would you recommend a keto diet then?
Ketogenic diet,
Yeah.
meat.
Meat.
I eat a lot of meat. I eat red meat at least twice a week now.
Yeah.
And let's call it meat. Let's chuck fish in there as well.
Yeah.
I eat fish 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay.
Meat 2 to 3, red meat 2 to 3 times. I eat chicken 2 to 3 times. I eat tin, tuna, things like that. A ton of eggs, but we're just talking meat. Now, if there's religious or cultural, ethical reasons why someone doesn't eat red meat, cool. It's a big world.
Yeah.
You know, and I actually appreciate that as well. Like when I was in Japan last year, everywhere you go was fish, but I didn't know they eat a lot of pork in Japan as well.
I didn't know that.
There are some of the islands or the parts that we generally don't flock to, Okinawa, places like that, where it's more of fish diet. But when you get into some of the bigger cities, it's fish, pork and chicken.
Okay.
Yeah. A ketogenic diet, that's going to give you a good source of protein.
Yeah. What is that for? Just for people that don't know, the ketogenic diet.
Right, you're going to cut out.
Yeah.
Not entirely.
Yeah.
You're going to cut out carbohydrates.
Yeah.
You won't be able to cut out fats because there's fats that come on the meat. You're going to get fats as well as the meat. Even if you get one of those meat that says 5% fat or something, you're still getting fat off the cut of the meat.
Yeah.
A ketogenic diet, you are going to lose some weight quickly because you're taking in less carbohydrates.
Yeah.
The downside to a ketogenic diet, your body goes into what we call ketosis.
Yes.
Okay, but what happens is it can start at some point, different for everyone, to essentially cannibalize itself. It can start thinking, I'm not getting the energy from the carbohydrate, good or bad carbohydrate, that they used to get, complex carbs, simple carbs. I've got to get the energy from, sleep aside, from the meat and the fat that I'm eating. Now that's fine to lose a little bit of weight quite quickly. There's a downside to it as well though. Unless that person is utilizing all that protein, those amino acids that are coming into the body, okay? Too much excess protein that's not being utilized properly, distributed around the body through the organs, can lead to sweats, meat sweats. yeah, it's horrible. You know, you've got all those all you can eat meat restaurants. The next day, you're dripping.
Great day, yeah.
You know, meat sweats, bad breath, body odor. And what happens is excess meat in the body that's not been processed properly. Pro bodybuilders suffer with this as well. Can actually be stored as a form of ammonia, which comes out the skin.
Okay.
That's the worst case scenario. The ammonia comes out of the skin because the body can't process. You know, the organs can't process so much protein. It needs vitamins as well. It needs its fruit and vegetables and whatnot. I'd say a ketogenic diet, 2 to 4 weeks to kickstart things. Yeah. But you need carbohydrates, some form of carbohydrate. For energy and also to balance things out. A ketogenic diet, most people that I know that have tried it, they're off it again, grand opening, grand closing, because they start slurring the words, they get tired at work at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So it could be a month down the line and they stop and introduce carbohydrate back again, fine. Yeah,
no, that's very interesting. Like I said, I think, like with health, isn't it? It's thinking what's sustainable to your lifestyle. Yeah. What are the healthy choices that you can make that you can keep up long term and that you still get to live life and enjoy? Yeah. Because otherwise, like I say, it'll be like 4 weeks and then or like people that get like Ozempic and stuff. There's like it's like quick fix, but then they're not actually doing the work and the psychological sort of work that they need to do to keep it off long term, and people still don't know 100% the side effects or something like that because it's still something that's relatively new. But yeah, I think. Yeah,
have you tried it?
No,
not Ozempic.
No, I remember when you used to say that to me, like, are you taking any pills? I was like, no.
Yeah. Well, let's just be clear that when I was training you and the weight came off and it consistently was coming off, you know, I've been around long enough to think, okay, at some point, your favourite word, plateau, there'll be a plateau, but you consistently, you went past that. So I had to ask, because it's incumbent upon me to ask. And it transpired that you were taking something that either you should or you shouldn't have, okay, then I would like to know. Yeah. Because actually, it'd be my profession to know if you were taking something off the shelf or below the shelf to help you get there, fat burners and stuff like that. And actually, had it turned out, if you were taking things like fat burning pills and drinks, I would have done my best to guide you off them. Yes. Because that can become a problem up there where you think, I've not had them, so something's wrong because you've not had your pills. You don't need them. What you need was movement.
Exactly, movement, good nutrition, less drinking. Just spirits now. No, it was very good fun.
Is that true? Just spirits now?
I just typically, drink spirits.
Yeah, like what?
Like gin.
Gin. I like a gin and tonic.
I've gone to tonic actually. I used to be lemonade, but me and my friends did a challenge where we all changed a healthier thing, and I changed from lemonade to tonic, and now I actually enjoy it.
Yeah, it is an enjoyable drink, you know. Okay. Well, there's always going to be different information out there. Yes. Different people saying it, and when you see those people on the big channels, because they've got a big channel, big following, good for them. Yeah. Because it's their profession and their business, so good for them. I can learn something from them. But always think, okay, when they in their channel halfway through they peddle a drink, a tablet, a sponsor, always think, right, there's another agenda for that as well. I don't talk anyone into necking certain drinks and whatnot. If someone came and said to me, Tristan, we'll pay you £100 a month. That's £100. And all you got to do is mention, all I'd have to do is mention a particular drink on the shelves now. And I'd have to mention it 3 times in every podcast. Okay, and I'd be getting £100 a month, £3 a day, and something a day. No, I'm good, thanks. No, I'm good. Because I'd rather not get £3 something a day off a sponsor. We're just talking such a small amount, it's almost insignificant. And talk about drinking water, or the effects of an espresso coffee first thing in the morning before you do weightlifting. That is sustainable. What's not sustainable is to neck pills and potions.
But extremes on social media, especially, extremes sell.
They do. Give me an example. What you think an extreme is?
No, so like some people like, grow your abs in 30 days or something like that. Or
grow them. They're already there. It's what's in front of them.
Or have this drink and you'll grow muscle. It's very clickbaity. But like you say, at the end of the day, there's an ulterior motive, a lot to influencers. So you have got to be careful who you follow online.
When you mention influencers, there is a big thing now of online coaches.
Yes.
Now, just to be clear, I'll make it clear. This is fact, not an opinion or a feel. There is a big difference between an online. We're talking fitness. An online coach and a personal trainer. An online coach may have had no qualifications, never studied anatomy and physiology, not even come from a sporting background. I've got no robust evidence that they practice what they preach, because all they've got to do is show their face on Zoom or one of these. But guess what? Some of them don't even do that. Some of them will download somebody else's program off the internet and just cut and paste their name on it and sell it for $5, £5, £20 a month. And that online coach ordinarily has not even got to meet the client. And it's not even a client, it's a subscriber.
It's worrying though, isn't it? That's the thing with social media.
Is it? Well, I don't call it worrying. I call it the way things are. I call it educational as well. Now that's not to berate an online coach. When people get into our industry now, an online coach or a personal trainer could still be lazy themselves and think, I don't want to meet the client. I don't want the client to meet me. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to have to do anything. But what I can do is speak to Jill or John, who've emailed me or rung in and said, eat this, drink that, and I'll tell you what, you go and weigh yourself and you ring in once a week. Well, a lot of people get into that. You know why? There's low barrier to entry in it. There's low barrier to entry to becoming an online coach. Because that person never meets you, they won't really know what you're like. A personal trainer who's someone who spends time with you, physical time, like normal people, like people, whether it be in his practice or her practice, or whether it be in your home, or whether it be in the local gym or something like that. And a personal trainer as well is not just responsible for you in their care when you're with them, they're actually to some degree responsible for those other 23 hours as well. That doesn't mean ring us up at 11 o'clock at night and say, what are you watching on Netflix? It's not that
Go
responsible.
away. Block.
There's a difference. I'm not saying either one is better or worse than the other. They are mutually exclusive, but they're not the same. So if you're looking to get into health and fitness and you are really stuck for a budget, or you're really stuck for time, or you don't want to leave your house, you want to work from home and you want to train at home, you could get an online coach. But remember, the downside to being an online coach, if John or Jill from Bristol to Bournemouth has got an online coach, that person is by definition used to sitting and clicking on the internet, and they'll find someone cheaper with more programs.
That's true.
So they'll find someone cheaper with more programs, and that person who does it, they've not invented the arm, they've not invented a dumbbell. What they've done is taken information off the internet and put their own spin on it. They've not actually gone and studied anatomy and physiology. They've never done exams. And I'm not saying the person that's got every qualification or certificate is the best person to go to, because quite often no one cares. I care, but quite often a lot of people don't. They just want to be thinner.
That's true. I think, okay, so we'll sort of finish this up now, I think, with one sort of interesting sort of opinion that I think I want to hear from you. So why do you think that we have, like, obesity is actually on the rise? Like, what has changed? What have you seen that's changed over the past 15 years that you've done this? And why is it getting worse and worse? Right,
the obesity crisis, because it is a crisis, it's an epidemic or pandemic, because epidemic, our own place, pandemic. You know, the pandemic of 4.5, 5 years ago, there was at the same time a bigger pandemic than that, and that's obesity. Because obesity wasn't invented in a lab 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago. You know, obesity's been around here since what? at the scale it is now, since probably the 60s, you know, there's wiggle room for it could have even been the 50s, but certainly by the 70s.
Okay.
And the rise of sugar.
Okay, yeah.
Sugar,
Yeah.
processed foods,
Yeah.
marketing.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to give you the uncomfortable answers as well?
Yes.
Or do you want me to butter it up?
No,
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
There's another reason why obesity epidemic or pandemic or stroke crisis is rising. Okay. And I've done a lot of reading into this, or enough for me to and looked around it as well. And that is with the political movements in certain countries.
Okay.
With what they call progressive states, progressive cities, okay? Because what's progression to someone is actually regression to someone else.
Yeah.
So it's only a matter of opinion. If a place, city, town, or political parties are progressive, that's just their opinion. It's not a fact, because someone else thinks it isn't.
Yeah.
So it's open to interpretation, like a lot of things. This culture that has been pushed into children normally by adults.
Okay.
Because an adult in the home, mum, dad, an adult at school, teacher,
Yeah.
head of year or whatever it is, an adult in the workplace, if they're influencing children, then the adult is the one that influences the younger person,
Okay.
the child or the teenager. And there's been a significant increase of push from adults in positions of influence or power over younger people,
Okay.
that obesity is actually okay.
Okay.
It's okay to be unhealthy. It's okay to be grossly overweight for men, young men, to walk around covered in visceral fat and abdominal fat. This thing about our beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Now, I understand that. Different cultures around the world, different countries, in a different demographic and geographics, some people need to be physically bigger. If you live in a cold climate, live in a harsh terrain, I understand that. But the obesity crisis has raised as well because, and here's a really, really uncomfortable one for some people, okay, single parent households.
Okay.
Single parent households, there is enough evidence to at least address the discussion. Not prove, but address the discussion. It is more than likely that children that come from a single parent household that could be living with the father or just with the mother, or even what they call cohabiting, where they go from one to the other.
Yeah.
That child is more susceptible to being plied with junk food, processed food, because it's quicker to put bad food in front of a child, and the child will be drawn to bad food, and they're raised on bad food.
Yeah.
And it's not always because that single parent has got no money. Because what does it cost to buy a plate of spinach? What does it cost?
90p.
Yeah, 90p.
Yeah. For a bag of spinach.
Get that
From Tesco.
That's not always the case. You could go to a lot of single parent households in the middle of London where you've got a huge range of different ethnicities, and sometimes different ethnicities that live in the middle of mega big cities. Their physiological makeup is different.
Yeah.
They could have come from parts of Africa or parts of Asia where they're narrow-boned genetically.
Yeah.
So they could still eat poor food but still remain thin, or thin to us to look at.
Yeah.
So you've got to take that into account. But that doesn't mean that their nutrition is good.
Okay.
It means they either might eat less calories, or they are predisposed to grow into 6'4" and have narrow, thin bones.
Yeah.
For leverage in sports, but they can still eat poor food. There's a aspect as well, and that is how the dating culture has changed as well. And there's a push as well for women and guys to hook up with each other on and think, okay, as long as you can talk, read, vote, procreate and breathe, that's good enough. Right, well, it's not good enough. It's not good enough for someone to knowingly get into a physical, emotional and sexual relationship with someone else when they are physiologically, just for the eye test, unhealthy. If they're grossly overweight or grossly underweight, because it can work both sides.
Yeah.
That person's got a far more important issue to deal with first. You know what they say about the plane trips? If a plane's going to go down, the oxygen mask come out, you put the oxygen mask on yourself first.
Yeah, before trying
it's
to
the
save
old
other
one.
people,
And then try and save other people.
Yeah.
These men out there that want to be the saviours, to whatever girl it is because it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
No, save yourself first, pal.
Yeah.
Lose some weight, get strong and fit. Look after your own health before trying to solve someone else's.
Yeah.
Now, I understand it. You've got food, alcohol. I think that the food and alcohol, poor nutrition, can be undone at the home. But it's different if that child or teenager is going to school, college, university, and or the workplace, but they're being influenced by other people who have got another agenda for them to say to that person, it doesn't matter that you're overweight and out of shape. It does matter. If one of your best friends fell over and knocked her front teeth out, what would you, as her friend, someone who cares, loves for her as well, what would you say?
To go to the dentist and get it
that
fixed.
day, or the next day, when the bleeding stops.
Right.
But why don't people say to their friend, their best friend, their work colleague, when they are grossly overweight and unfit, why don't they say to them, you're unhealthy, do something about it?
I think for some people it's uncomfortable, isn't it?
Well, so his 2 front teeth being knocked out.
And as well, people's weight is very personal.
So his 2 front teeth being knocked out.
So it's very personal to somebody.
Yeah.
So they probably don't want to hurt their feelings.
There's that word again.
Yeah, feelings.
We started on that.
Yeah. And then sometimes people surround themselves with people that are very similar to them, so they typically could be unhealthy themselves.
Smokers hang out with smokers.
Yeah, that's very true. So obviously, it's just the norm, isn't it, that they're used to and that they're surrounded with. Yeah.
I agree with you. I can sprinkle some something on top of that as well. Right. When I studied back in 07 and 08, we looked at the psychological aspects of that, and specifically on excess weight gain. Now, again, an uncomfortable conversation, or at least uncomfortable discussion. When someone is grossly overweight, it is a visible tell, because they're essentially telling on themselves. It doesn't matter what they tell you, they're showing you something else. So if someone says to you, Carrianne, I can make 6 figures into 7, 7 figures into 8, I can turn your company into a multinational, make everyone millionaires. But the person telling you with a straight face and with conviction as well is grossly overweight, I would go by my sense, my eye test, not what they're telling me, because they're showing me that they don't care. Because if someone doesn't care about the health, why would they care about the health of your health or the health of your company? They can tell you and be very convincing, but you're seeing something else. Right. The other aspect as well is that excess weight gain, not on every occasion, but enough for it to be a discussion, is also linked to poor academic and emotional intelligence. I'm a son of an immigrant on my dad's side. My dad came from South America in the 60s. I lived on estates in London for a total of 22, nearly 23 years. Okay. I wasn't born into a bloodline of wealthy people or highly qualified academics. However, it's incumbent upon my dad and my mum and me and my brothers and sisters to do better somewhere. Not to become shining examples, not to actually solve world famine and walk around on eggshell and walk around on petals. Not to do that. But whatever it is, just do it slightly better. You know, why would someone who's worked their way up and paid off their mortgage or got together and they're 5 years short of paying off their mortgage, why would that person knowingly want to end up in a 1-bedroom flat in a high-rise in East London surrounded by criminals? Why would they do that? They wouldn't.
No.
So why would that person then, who's got healthy, fit and strong and mobile and agile, want to go back to the way they were 2 years before? Of none of those.
They wouldn't.
But other people
want them to.
Want them to. You know, misery loves company. And that's why people that are unhealthy hang around with unhealthy people. They generally, they might know someone at work, most know someone at home who's strong, fit and healthy, a woman who's lost 3 stone, lifts weights, got a great body, everyone likes her now, hair's done nice. They look at her and think, yeah, that's taken effort. And guess what? I don't want to do any effort. Blokes are the same. Blokes with big bellies and double chins. That's the same bloke who's out clothes shopping every 4 weeks, like he's Kim Kardashian or something.
Well, nothing good happens in your comfort zone, does it? That's for true.
Well, you're comfortable while you're asleep. You should be.
No, I think, like I say, that's quite an uncomfortable thing to hear. But I think, as somebody who used to be 18 stone, I completely agree with Tristan. I think very much the best thing that you can do for self-love of yourself is focus on your health. I think obviously look after your body and then have that respect to look after it with both nutrition and exercise, but also surround yourself with people that respect themselves but also respect you and want the best for you. I think it is very true.
We're still human. You know, I'm going to go home tonight, I'm going to watch a program. I'm watching Yellowstone at the moment.
Oh, nice. I'm
late to the party, but I like Kevin Costner, he's cool. I think he's cool. Not as cool as me, but he's cool. But I think to myself, well, okay, right, I'm going to go home tonight, watch a movie. The girlfriend and I were going to go and see this light show in Lincoln and whatnot. Pay your Hopefully no more than £5. Spare no expense on night out with me. But listen, but we've still got to get up tomorrow, brush your teeth, have your coffee, go to work and do your chores. You know, do the dishes.
Yeah.
Even if you've got a dishwasher, you still got to load it.
Yeah,
I've never had a dishwasher.
No.
I tell a lie, I did have a dishwasher once when I rented back in the 90s in London. I loved it. With one of those narrow dishwashers, I used to put one fork, one spoon, just for the novelty of it.
Yeah, we have one at work, to be fair.
Have you?
Yeah, at work, yeah.
See,
in the Mosaic building.
Because heaven forbid if you have to wash a cup up.
I know. Oh.
I'm going to Richard.
They look after us, to be fair, Mosaic. Yeah.
Hang on though, that's open interpretation because if you're washing plates and cups and knives every day, you're burning calories.
You are.
Who has to load the dishwasher? Men or
we
women?
do. We put the stuff in.
Do the girls do it or the boys do it?
Yeah, but everyone does it. Everyone
Who does it more? Someone must do.
Yeah, no. Well,
you're not saying 50-50 like the last.
I don't stand and watch people put stuff in the dishwasher, so I can't statistically accurately say what the stats are there.
Can I guess?
You're going to say more women than men.
Hang on a second. I'm going to guess who loads the dishwasher more at your place, the men or the women. I'm going to go the women because they like nice clean things. We do as well, men do as well. You just like nice clean things a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, it's fine with that. Listen, I'm here now to work on my channel.
Yes.
Okay, with your help, you've guided me right, you've helped me out. And the thing is, I do wonder where the health and fitness industry is going to be 10 years from now, a year from now. And what I've learned and what I've accepted to some degree, I think acceptance is okay on a lot of things, is that my time, not on the planet, but my time as a trainer is finite. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to course correct before I have to course correct.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, I just made that up on the spot.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually deviate before I need to deviate.
Okay.
Yeah, because indecision is not going to get me anywhere.
True.
If I make a bad decision, I can see where I've made a bad decision and not do it again. Must not do it again, must not do it again, must not do it again. But I think, right, what I'm going to do is say that my brain and body and my energy levels are finite. Okay, and eventually, some point, I'll just go into one-to-one consultancy. Yeah. And by then, I would have done enough repetitions to, at the very least, warrant it. Yeah. Warrant the actual, warrant the accountability of myself first, and then of a client. Yeah. I have to hold myself accountable more than a client. And the reason being, if I don't show up for work, if I don't show up for my profession and keep reading, keep learning, why would the client? Yeah. Yeah.
It's true.
Moving forward, you yourself have got yourself into far better shape, and I've always said to you the most important thing is keep mixing things up. Yes. Keep changing things, and only surround yourself with physically healthy people. Yeah. They could be complete.
No, kind, healthy people. There's enough kind, healthy people out there.
You could have someone that can run faster than Usain Bolt, swim faster than Michael Phelps, look better than prime Brad Pitt, be better with their hands and feet than Mike Tyson, but they could be, they could be a garden tool, right? Okay, but that might be less of an occasion. All I would say is, look, for you in your career, what you do. Yeah, because what you do, you're good at it. Keep tweaking it. And I know nothing apart from what you and Richard tell me about what you do. Yeah. A grain of sand. But you know enough to know, keep tweaking it. Yeah. Keep changing things.
But again, it is like that in marketing. You're constantly learning. There's constantly developments. Like all this with like AI and stuff, we're now all learning and implementing that in our work. But like say, health and fitness is constantly evolving. Yeah. So it's marketing. That is life. Yeah. You've got to have that growth mindset. And just keep learning and just keep making mistakes and just keep trying. Yeah, I've made enough myself. I've made 101 mistakes and I'm okay making 102. Yeah, maybe not 103. Just drag them out of it. Yeah. Have some breathing space in between them. It's okay to make mistakes as long as we can see what we've done. Yeah. And again, I'm always learning from clients. I've been fortunate enough to train some smart people. And I don't always mean academically or financially smart, just smart as in they've got humour, they've got compassion, empathy. And 1% of that rubs off on me. There we go. 1%, rubs off on me. It's better than zero. Yeah. That's it. That's it. I've got two more appointments today. Nice. I'm finishing early today, but I'm back in tomorrow morning with a businesswoman from Lincoln at 9 a.m. Oh, and then in a week, next week or week after, we take on our new sports massage therapist at our centre.
and it's a bloke this time. It's a dude.
Oh, Lauren, I miss you already.
We all do. Well, you know what? I've learned as well that I've employed lots of women. Okay, and yes, they are working for me, but I always say you're working with me.
Yeah.
You're working for yourself. You know, in the 14 and a half years we've been open, I think it has been close to 50-50 on young men and young women that have worked at our centre, and I've always learned something from the young women as well. So, and because I'm sometimes old enough to be their dad.
Yeah.
And I hear some of the stories on a Monday morning, but quite often, therapists and or trainers quite often don't have too many wild weekends because we come from an anatomy and physiology and a sporting background, and therefore we might go out and once in a blue moon and have a blowout. But generally, I think you'd get more wilder characters who work in offices or car dealerships or building sites than trainers or therapists, because we know we've got to have a clear head come Monday morning. Yeah, even at a young age.
Yeah, health is ingrained into you, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's part of our physical makeup, and it doesn't generally as a sports massage therapist, physiotherapist, chiropractor, osteopath, personal trainer, right across to dental surgeons and GPs. We generally are like that throughout most of our lives, most of in different ways. Whereas the guy who works in a building site could work in a car dealership the next week, and vice versa. Yeah. Or the woman who works in Nero's could work in a reception somewhere at nice, or become CEO of a company.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as there's a constant movement. Kaizen.
Yeah.
Japanese, always moving forward, non-stop.
Exactly. Right, fabulous. No, thank you for that, Tristan. I think that was very informative. Answered some good questions there. But yeah, obviously, if anyone's got any sort of further questions, I'm sure Tristan's more than happy for you to sort of comment on the channel and then create some sort of videos around those topics as well. Yeah, I enjoy it. And feel free to ask me something. I'll do the best. If I don't know, that's why my brother knows. Not me. I'm a woman. There's always wiggle room for improvement. Okay. Always. And only this week alone, we had 2 people. One person came through the door, not seen for a year and a half. Another person messaged us, what I've not seen for 5-6 months. We do get that little bit of serendipity where we do get that little nice surprise, but often it comes from the being aware and present all the time on different channels, on different media. Someone will come through the door I've not seen for 1 or 2 years, and they said, well, we watch your channel, or we read all the emails that go out. Yeah. In your line of work, you call it omnipresence or whatever, yeah? Omni-channel, multi-channel marketing. Multi-channel marketing. Yeah. Write that down. It's just a jargon word. Just be on channels where your customers are. Yeah. Exactly, yeah. Be where your audience are. You don't need to be everywhere, but you just need to be where they are. Oh, is that right? Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, you heard it from an expert. All right. What are you doing for the weekend for your fitness? Oh well, so I've got a park run tomorrow, Doddington Park Run, and then I'm off for brunch because I always like to have a nice brunch after a run. Did you say brunch? Yeah, I was in breakfast. So. Can I ask you something? Yes. Why is it I've never heard a bloke say I'm going out for brunch? Why is it always girlfriends and wives and female colleagues? What? I've never heard a bloke say I'm going out to do brunch. What is that? It's because brunch is like more sociable, so women are probably. I'm social. Yeah. I don't know. It's just off for brunch. Yeah. Off for breakfast, lunch, because the run so finishes. 2 meals at the same time. Yeah. So the run, you don't eat before the run, and then and then you finish around 9:30, and then you go for like breakfast. It's like breakfast, so it's like avocado, it's bacon, eggs, scrambled eggs. It's delicious. Yeah. At Doddington. Yeah. And then. Need to go to the gym as well, so I'm going to do that Sunday after a dog walk a nice long dog walk with my friend on Sunday as well. Okay, and what's happening with your better half, Jake? Yeah, so what's he doing this weekend? So he's got a dissertation to do. Okay. He's got about 5 months left with that. So he's actually doing academics while you're socialising. Yeah, he'll probably go for a run as well at some point, I'm sure. So a good mix. Excellent, yeah. Well, socialising, you see. I know you do, Hey, it's okay being social. I'm going to be social tonight. I just don't call it. What are you doing, Tristan? I call it food. Yeah. Calories. Yeah. I'm going to see a light show in Lincoln tonight. Shows I'm getting old. Yeah. When my idea of rock and roll is a light show. That's nice. And then my girlfriend and I, we're dialed into watching Yellowstone. That's our 1 hour, you know what I mean? And I'll cook a nice meal. I'm going to make spaghetti bolognese tonight with grass-fed beef. Now, don't all cows eat grass. Well, it turns out not always true. Okay. But I'm going to make a spaghetti bolognese, all fresh ingredients, have a good healthy meal, and then watch this show tonight, watch Yellowstone, and then tomorrow morning back in for work, and deal with more bodies, more emotions, more soft tissue, more connective tissue, and then guess what? It starts all again Monday morning. Yeah. But we're bringing on a new therapist next week, so I've got I'll train him up and spend time with him, and hopefully. He's an Arsenal fan like me, so it will work. Yeah, nice. To some degree. Yeah. That's it. Well then, thank you.
Till the next one. Right, the channel is Over 40s Fitness Podcast with me, Tristan Lowe. I'm available on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, LinkedIn, Facebook, and all the other socials. I think this is episode 83.
Yes.
I think. And the target is to get to episode 100 to create just a little legacy of my thoughts and humble opinions on all things health and fitness. And thereafter, we'll change. I'm going to change the format of it and whatnot, and hope to spend more time talking about those difficult subjects.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for coming. Till the next one,
See you
Carrianne.
later, Tristan.
Enjoy. Thanks for watching.